What happens when life takes a turn? What happens when uh, things really don't go as planned, as you plan, right? Growing up, a lot of times we heard, tell God your plans and He'll laugh, right? But I got a question for us today. Like, for those of you all who trust in God, to say you trust in God, do you really trust in God? Because what happens when you feel like you're in a good position and like you end up losing that position, you lose that opportunity, then it's like, then what? But then you hear a lot of people say, oh, God is pushing you into something greater. He got something greater for you. And like, it's not like people are saying anything different. It's like everybody talking the same language. Like, even in that moment, it should be a refresher, right? It should be refreshing to know that God is using people to speak. But what happens when your day is gloomy like today, right? It ain't sunny out here. It's gloomy. It's about to rain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happens on those days where it ain't no up spirit about like what you desire to do or what you will do or what you feel called to do, right? What happens on those days, man? So like, I don't know, man. I just wanted to come have a conversation with y'all today, man. Just blow up the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But like, what happens when like you really gotta trust God now in this season? Like, you did things your way. You got the connections. You got the mentors. You got everything. But none of those things are lining up because God wants to get the glory Himself, not somebody else taking the credit. Oh, I did this for you. I did that. I did. Like, no, like God really wants the credit. He wants the glory. He wants to be worshipped. What happens in that grace season where it's like, yo, like, which way do I really turn? Which way do I really go? And so, like, right now, like, as y'all know, my channel personal, like, if you go back, you watch videos from other years, you see, like, oh, I was a aspiring entrepreneur. I was teaching seventh grade math. I was just graduating with my master's degree. I did a project on recreation administration concerning facility operations. I did a lot. And then you also see music on my channel, stuff like that. But the real thing is, God gave me this around 2018. He turned 11. And with that, it was so much inside of that. And I know it's so much that's in Pat inside of it, but it's Pat, but it can happen, if that makes sense. So it's like, yo, the building blocks, the beginning stages, right? What is that, right? What does that look like? What do I need to do, right? But I just watched Myron Golden, shout out to him. His page is phenomenal. Make sure you follow his page. Myron Golden, he was saying like, what's in your house? What do you have? Like, so many times, like, we be trying to figure it out. Oh, where I'm gonna put this from? Where I'm gonna get this from? But really, it's right there in your crib. Right there is right there in your book bag. Right there, it's in your car. It's wherever, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like we overlook the small things because we have such an idea of the big picture. But the big picture requires the small steps, which we call that faith as well, to be able to see it before it even happened. But then we put the action with the faith, right? And so I feel like that's where I'm at right now, man. So today, like, this junk like really called let's get personal because I'm allowing y'all into my vulnerable space today. You know what I'm saying? So like, but even here sitting at the park, it's like, I'm thinking, all right, it's a gloomy day, ain't nobody here. But if y'all can hear in the background, like cars, geese, people, music, you know what I'm saying? But then it was like, yo, if you don't do something today though, Ty, like you're gonna keep making excuses. And I feel like this is for the one who feels this. Stop making excuses. Stop making it like we got every excuse in the book but to do. Every excuse in the book but to do. Like, stop making excuses, man. Cause somebody, like you hear all the time, like somebody blessing is tied to your faith, tied to your action, tied to you doing what you're supposed to do. So if you keep waiting, guess what's gonna happen? These people gonna keep suffering, keep suffering, keep suffering. So if you have a gift, you got to use it. People tell me all the time, like, yo, you really should be speaking. You really connect with people. You really, and it's like I hear it, but then I don't really put the pedal to the metal. But guess what? That's about to change. And so you right now sitting in your home, sitting in the living room, in the kitchen. You might be sitting with your family. You might be playing with your kids, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You might just be coming out of a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Just understand that it's more required of you. It's more that's required. And we can say, oh man, we've been grinding, we've been like we haven't. We haven't. But at the same time, stop relying on your strength and rely on the strength of God. Like God loves you. Like if y'all can see how this hand is squeezing the heart, like God loves you so much that he would never, ever, ever let you go unless you decide that you want to leave. And even that, he'll come chase you. He'll leave the 99 to come get you. You know what I'm saying? So understand like how powerful God love is for us, man. Like he wants so much for us, man. But it's like we get aside of ourselves, inside of ourselves, aside of ourselves, however you want to say it. But we always try to find the gaps to throw an excuse in there. It's time to stop making excuses. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to my homeboy. I'm talking to my ex. I'm talking to everybody, family, everybody. Like, if you feel like this is you, like, yo, stop throwing excuses in the gap. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it done. Just get it done. So, with that being said, man, it's like now that the adversity is here, you can either let adversity beat you up, or you can give that battle to God and then you just walk and see what he had prepared for you down the road, right? It could be 50 feet, it could be a mile, it could be 100,000 miles down the road. It don't matter as long as you're aiming towards it. But give it to God and like see what he can really do with it. Because I feel like at the end of the day, when God said he want to fight our battles and give our concerns to him, and we do that, or when we in temptation and our flesh getting the best of us, right? Before we make that move, it's like, God, can you take this from, like when we really acknowledge God and we really give it to him, right? Y'all think we're gonna still lose that battle? Like, no, because now our hearts and our minds are aligned and we're giving it to God in that moment before it happened. So at the end of the day, it's like, yo, when we acknowledge God, beautiful things happen, you know? And so it may not feel good. You may still have a desire to want to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, God is pleased with your yes to him. With your willingness to say, hey, God, I know I'm about to struggle right here. So can you take this from me? Man, listen. Man, we make our Father smile, yo. I'm telling you, I believe that. I believe we really make him smile when we do those things. But then when we don't do them, I'm not gonna say he shake his head. I don't know in that aspect because like our thoughts are not his thoughts. But I do believe that God smiles when we decide that we want to honor him with things that we can actually fall from sin, from the things we say, from the doubt and the fear that we battle on a daily. When we start giving that to God and we start walking bold and speaking more boldly, like, yo, you can't tell me our Father not happy. So, I don't know, man. Like, today I just want to encourage you. Like, do you really trust God? And if not, like, what makes it hard for you not to trust God, right? What makes it hard for you to fall into that side of things versus, hey God, I trust you. Like I trust you. I trust you with everything I have, with me, with my money, with my relationships that I want to have or do have, or whatever the case with my kids, whatever, my job, all that. Like God, I trust you. But what about trusting the plan that He also have for you? We don't have to know the plan. Our thing is we have to learn to build relationship. We can build relationships with our friends, with our boyfriend, girlfriend, with our wives, husbands, with our kids. We know we feel like we gurus when it come down to that. Then when it come down to God, it's like, why would we struggling to have a relationship with the one that created us? I don't know, but we got to fight through that. Like the same energy we give on a Sunday when our favorite team playing, or when our favorite pastor's in the pulpit and he say something good and we yell out, or the music sounding good and we worshiping God, or when you receive some money or it's payday, or you able to buy them new sneakers, or you get new J's that came out. You know what I'm saying? Or you get shorty that you've been wanting for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way we pursue these other things and be happy about these other things, we should remain with that same happiness in God. Actually, we should have a more shout of a praise to him. You know what I'm saying? To be real. And I say a shout of praise because we really be putting people on pedestals. Like our favorite quarterbacks, our favorite NBA people, our celebrities, like all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we put people on a pedestal, but then when they come to God, like we be shy. Like we be around our friends and we sometimes we don't even want to lift our hands and be like, God, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like because our friends here. You know what I'm saying? Like bump that though. You got to start getting radical, and I'm talking to myself too. We got to start getting radical for God, like because the way this world is going. Some people are so confused out here. Like things happen on the news and things happen in the media, and it's like a shock. Like no, like we know that these things are going to happen because it's already written. So the one whom we supposed to be trusting or building a relationship with, we're running from him in our own strength in this world. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to do things. We questioning him like, God, why you letting this happen? Like, why do we question God? Just like if you have kids and your kids question why you said, and you really saving them, you really protecting them, bad things happen. You might burn your hand on the stove because I told you not to touch it, but you decide to touch it. Or you may hurt yourself because I told you not to jump out the couch and you still, or what about the innocent people? Yeah, what about them too? Like, I feel for them. I feel for them 110%. But the thing is, hey, those things are written. It could be me. It could be you. It could be somebody sitting next to you, your closest. It could be anybody next. But at the end of the day, one thing for sure is God is real. God is absolutely real. He hears us. He wants a relationship with us. It's not about religion. It's a relationship with him. And he said the only way to him is through his son. And it's like, if you have kids, right, and you know you birthed that child, and somebody tell you that that's not your child, like, no, I don't believe that's your child. But you know you birthed that child. It's going to make you feel some type of way. The same way with our Father, it's like, he put Jesus here. It was him in the flesh to come down to save us from our sin, to die on the cross, to ascend back to heaven because it was assignment from the Father. But if you understand that, like, the Trinity, like, I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. But I'm going to say this. We have to put our trust in the one who created us. Not our parents. Yeah, they carried us. They made us do the system of what God has given them to do, right? But we have to get back to trusting God, right? We so focused on self-love and honored ourselves and all this to where, like, it's like we so caught up in self-love, but we're not caught up in the love of Christ. We're not caught up in God no more. Like, everybody may not be a believer as well, and that's fine. Because everybody will hear. One thing about it, everybody will hear the gospel before God come back. Before God crack the sky, before he come back, everybody will hear about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Everybody will have heard. So you can't say that, I didn't know, or because this person, I decided not to follow you. Like, that's crazy. These Christians, Okay, imperfect people. But we chose to still acknowledge the one whom we deem and know to be true. Right? So it's like we gotta stop making excuses. Just stop making excuses. That's it. So that's all I gotta say. But you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all like, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk. Let's have some conversation. Like, back to the question. Like, why is it hard for you to trust God? Like, what are some things that's holding you back that you have in your home or in your space right now that if you really utilize it or create it and put it to work, that you can get something out of it? What is that thing that you sitting around being lazy about? What is that idea that you haven't written down on paper and started to construct the ideas or the supporting details to make that thing come successful? Who do you need to call today, right? To have a conversation with, to be like, hey, I need to talk to you, right? So that's all I got. Make sure y'all go follow EL, Eternity Living Brand, on Instagram. Go follow the site, Eternity Living Brand .square.site. All of that stuff is in the description. Make sure y'all follow, subscribe, like, share this with somebody. And I love y'all, man. Real talk. We out.